This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop, where you, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show, because we are just here to talk about sim racing news, what's going on in the wonderful world of sim racing, and this show is evolving. I'm changing the content and what we cover on this show each and every week and day, and a lot of it based on things that you guys send me. So a lot of people send me stories in addition to the things that I find. And I think we're seeing a change or an evolution in the times in our sim racing world, so we might be covering more like esport results and things like that in the future. You guys let me know what kind of things you want to see on the show. But, of course, just like any other day, if you guys have anything that you think we need to be talking about in the world of sim racing, let us know. We'll talk about it. Maybe I can find the story on the internet if it's not something that I already have. Appreciate you being here. Happy Tuesday to everybody. And let's get down to sim racing news. So first things up, and I'm going to blow through these as usual, and the things that are worthy of longer discussion, then we are going to go ahead and do longer discussion. First up, in Forza, they have their race, the 2019 Hyundai Veloster, whatever you want to call it, in their ahead of the curve rivals competition, and you can actually win prizes doing this. So if you're looking for some Forza fun, you can get out there and run in that new car and have some fun with those guys, and maybe you win some prizes. That would be great. Next up, just something you can watch tonight. Tonight at 7 p.m. GMT. 32 drivers, 5 races, 20 eliminations, and 1 champion. This is all going to be going on in the Actual Vision PS4 ACR Knockout Cup on Project Cars 2. You can follow that on Twitch. You can, all these stories, I'm a little behind sometimes today. I do have the topics, everything we're going to talk about at thesimpit.com, so just look for this image right there at the Simpit, and you will find those stories. So if you want to find the link, you can get it and get the story, and go watch that tonight at 7 p.m. if you're just looking for some good sim racing entertainment. New trailer out of the guys of Onrush. This is Codemasters, so you think of how many games Codemasters really makes, and it's like, you know, the whole Formula 1 series, they've got the Dirt series, they got the expansions to Dirt, like Dirt Rally, things like that, and you know, now they've got the Stampede is coming, as they put it, with Onrush the game. Looks like the kind of title we could have some fun with on a Monday fun day, that's for sure. I don't think I'm going to call this Hardcore Sim. Be interesting to see if Codemasters has wheel support, if they have proper wheel support in this, and there's a slight chance they just might, being that they could take it from other games and things. So anyway, next up, iRacing. Billy Strange, I don't know if you're in the house, but I know he's going to go after this, and any of you dirt fans who want to get in on the highest level, I mean, now you're talking prize money, you're talking world championship level racing on the dirt, both in the Outlaws Craftsman series, one being the modifieds and the other being the sprint car. And you know, this is an opportunity to get in now, because you think about trying to get into the world championship level racing on iRacing on like the road or the oval side of things, and it's quite a path, quite a ladder to claw your way up into that level to get one of those golden tickets or black stripes on your car. Right now is when you can get that. Right now, get in at the end of this mini season that they're doing. You're going to have 35 drivers in each series with those black licenses. Oh my God, what, Randy, thank you so much. Thank you, buddy. But anyway, so if there was ever a time to do it, it's now. And just on a side note, I know that right now they do have a promo code, so if you want to get back into iRacing full time, you can get a full year for just $50 with the promo card PR-GRC12. Michael, thank you. Max, you're getting a bone. We're going to go to the pet store right after the show. Thank you, Michael. Max appreciates that. Next up, Dakar. You know, every day they give us a teaser, so what's today's teaser? Today it's just sort of getting a little look-around view. So, thank you, the Mixer. Dirt. I knew I messed that up. My brain wasn't clicking on all 8 cylinders. Thank you for having my back. And at the beginning of every show, I say that you guys are the real star of the show, and it wouldn't. You guys have my back, and I appreciate your follow-up and thoroughness, and always having my back. TT Isle of Man. Red Bull Games did a write-up on TT Isle of Man, and this is, man, I want to play. I'm just going to have to go buy this and play it because I want to. It doesn't even have anything to do with the show. I just want to ride them. Hey, Paul S. Awesome. Thank you, buddy. Anyway, but this is a whole thing giving you some tips on things to do in terms of getting some speed and performance out of TT Isle of Man, coming from Red Bull Gaming site. So these guys, they put out some good content. I have to give Red Bull credit. They are definitely getting into the gaming market. Stu, no, I don't think that they do refunds. That disappointed, huh, Stu? Kart Racing Pro from Paboso. These guys are known for motorcycle sims, as you know, now if you really think about it. Anyway, Kart Racing Pro got its latest update. I believe this was number 5, if I'm not mistaken, with a variety of fixes. I know one of the big ones was somewhere in here, Oculus Rift and HTC Vive support through Steam VR. I did use the Samsung unit, the Odyssey, and it was a little tough. That was before their update to VR. I mean, it specifically says Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. But a lot of other changes and updates. You can get that game at Steam, and I have a copy, and I need to get on board and do a review. I've driven it, but I did it in the VR, which was definitely not the best of the best ways to do it. So definitely want to get in and do that. Hey, Will, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Velocity, how you doing? James is here as well. We got a lot of people who finally made it to the live version. I know the time change is, you know, on an international level is a real tricky one. Anyway, getting back to FA Racing G2, Mikael, you are too... That's beyond a cup of Java right there. I appreciate it a ton, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. The pit crew. The pit crew, you guys. Anyway, Joni Termala, one of the drivers with FA Racing G2, well, we now, you know, being the researchers that we are, we now know his gamer tag name because he said he secured a P2. So I believe he goes by, and correct me if I'm wrong and you know more than I do on this one, but Veloce Primero is the number 2 qualifier. But anyway, that just shows you where they're dividing their time and sending their team. These guys are everywhere. You're seeing them in iRacing. You're seeing them in WRC. You're seeing Logitech, FA Racing G2 starting to really stretch their legs. Aren't you just a couple of weeks from that in the UK and most of Europe? Hey, Sasha, how you doing? Hello to anybody I missed. I try to see everything. Logitech, their Twitter feed, just mentioning this real quick. They have a giveaway. This is with Restream. I use Restream. Our chat right now is going through Restream. But they do have a contest. You can just tag your friends, retweet, and like, and have a chance at winning a Logitech headset, keyboard, and mouse. So if you want a freebie, go try that out. Sean just got sex. What makes you say that? Too funny. Tomorrow night, I will be doing the Hot Lap Hump Day. Speaking, is that the sex you mean, the Hump Day? This is with the guys at Ricmotech. We're going to do something a little different. They run a big race with their clients and clientele and friends and family there in the Florida, Miami Lakes area. And I've joined them way back when for one of their races. I'm going to join them again, and I'm going to stream it from my end. In addition to my stream, I'm going to get one of the cameras there from Florida. So we're going to be able to see what's going on at their shop while I'm doing the race with those guys. Should be kind of cool. Should be kind of fun. Should be a little bit different. We'll see what it looks like. Swedish Krona. There you go. Oh, it's not sex. It's... You are being very smart. Very well played, Stu. Oh, this is really interesting. So, Players Lounge. This is an article at Yahoo. Players Lounge lets gamers make money off their esports skills. You are talking about being able to have matches for money via PayPal, Bitcoin, or various other online currencies with bets ranging from $2.50 up to $500. Now, a few states in America aren't going to allow this, like Arizona, Iowa, Louisiana, and North Dakota. However, we're talking racing for pink slips, guys. You could actually, if they acknowledge sim racing, you could theoretically race somebody for money. That is quite a new level of gaming. That's a whole lot different than general esport, in my opinion, there. Hey, Tom, sorry we're running long and you're not going to get to see the whole thing. You'll see it later. Have a good day, bud. Drive Tribe. So there's an article write-up by Jimmy Broadbent on Drive Tribe that I thought was a really good... What's cool about this, and my hat's off to Jimmy on the way he did this, was this the best era of DTM? And he goes on to do a write-up, but then you get the video that kind of goes along with it. So it's more than just a good read. It's a read with a video and just a good thought on a great era, or many eras of a great series in racing. So check that out if you have interest. Of course, I have the link at thesimpit.com. This is kind of cool. Amazon's new Game On API helps developers add esport competitions to their games. So they're building like a whole app, a whole place for you to take pretty much any game that, I guess if they qualify you, and use their platform for the esport competitions. So it's sort of like a cloud sport or a gaming company that lets privateers kind of have a shot at it to an extent, excuse me. And that's through Amazon. So that's, I mean, again, talk about the changing of times and how quickly it's happening. We're seeing personal wagering, open esport platforms, the full-blown esport that's typical and we've seen in 50,000 seat stadiums and etc. Yes, John, I've heard that as well. Various different versions of that, but I think that's as much speculation as that they would be nothing, and then they jumped up to what, 17,000 a Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the peak was, but it peaked and dropped. Here's an article at British Esports Association about Tobin Racers Lee and an interview with him. And I just mentioned this because if you just want to know some of the players you're going to be knowing about and hearing about in the future, this kid is one of them. And I say kid, he's 17 years old. So us old dogs, we might be out of a job. You know, you see this in every sport where in the beginning, sure, it's the guys who created it, played it, got it, its fan base. And then as soon as the money comes in, it's the kids that are going to come in and show us what's up. This is at Reddit in the iRacing section. And I love over-the-top rigs. If you know me, you know I've had my share of over-the-top rigs. But here's this guy's sprint car rig. And there are a few things to take in note when looking at the coolness of this rig. Number one, I love the giant casters. Go put it anywhere. Obviously, it's in some kind of a shop. Number two, look at the real deal seated position. I don't know if that's a real seat or a fabbed seat to be like one of the real like outlaw type seats. Look at the drive shaft right there in his way. Look at the angle on the wheel and the lack of any buttons. Well, there are no buttons in a sprint car to the best of my knowledge. Maybe a chat button, but over the top elaborate rig. And you can see the old rig, the just do it like anyone else rig in the background, with what looks like a Logitech G920, and that looks to be a Fanatic base with just a generic wheel mounted to it. So, pretty cool rig. Hats off to them on a cool thing. That's at Reddit. Back at E3, they teased the new Atari, you know, and it has that old school look about it. And it now has a name, was actually the point of the article. So it is going to be called the Atari VCS. Anyway, it'll come preloaded with some nostalgic old school games, and it's going to play new games by various developers who are going to make games for the Atari. But Atari is back, so it's been decades and decades since I had an Atari console in my house. maybe we're there again. GDC, Game Developers Conference, just kicked off, and the big note about this is I'm not a fan of E3. E3 portrays itself as a gaming trade show. And it is, yeah, the angle, Stu, the angle is totally authentic, if I'm not mistaken. If Billy was here, he'd confirm that for us. But, the thing about E3 for me is it's no longer really a trade show. It's become a marketing blitz and more like Comic-Con. So back in the day, Comic-Con was sort of really for the enthusiasts. Then it became a media blitz, and I don't know if it's quite what it used to be, even though it's taken a new form and is quite impressive. Same thing with E3. It's taken a new form and it is impressive, but it is hardly a trade show. Game Developers Conference truly is a trade show, and if you went there as a gamer, you'd be bored out of your mind for the most part. Anyway, the big thing to really take note in is that they've really joined forces. So now it's Game Developer Conference and Virtual Reality Developers Conference. So again, we talk about how times are changing. VR's big. VR is definitely not just like when 3D came in. Ah, Billy is here. Hey, Billy, I'm glad you gave us that. Alright, next up, Beach Buggy Racing 2 announced for the Nintendo. Or no, for the Switch. Never played Beach Buggy 1. But anyway, it is cool to see that there are more and more driving games on the Switch coming along. But there you go. Next up, I talk about this because this one wasn't quite as out of touch as a lot of the best of articles that I read. This one seemed fairly legit, but please check the specs for yourself. It is their top gaming monitors buyer's guide. So if you're looking for a budget 24, here's their recommendation and why. You're looking for a budget 27, here's why. You're looking for the best 27 or a ultra wide, here's their buyer's guide. They had a variety of companies in their picks, so I think they did do a little research. But a lot of people ask me about monitors. It is, you know, with the price of RAM and video cards and everything else, and you're like trying to upgrade right now, monitor is probably the best thing to upgrade for the bang for the buck, and with the times not getting overcharged. And my last full-blown news story of the day is Mad Max and Just Cause developers' next title is a self-published open-world action game. So what we might be looking at is a Mad Max type themed game that kind of plays like, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto perhaps? Could be kind of cool. I don't know if it's really a driving game, but it could be fun for all of us. So that's going to do it for today's news. Beyond that, I want to let you guys all know that this weekend, Saturday, we have our big Ellis Jones Memorial Patron Race. And this is going to be for all of our patron crew. This is going to be on iRacing. We're going to do 2 races, a road race and an oval, both at Charlotte, one in the Mazda, one in the old school truck. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to broadcast that race so you can all watch it. I'll be in the booth calling the race, I should say. And I am going to put up another practice server today. I'm going to put it up right after the show. Leave it up for about 12 or 14 hours. So that should take you well into the evening if you want to get some practice for that series. Beyond that, last thing, I just want to get a good chuckle out of you, a little retro thought. How many of you guys had the Turbo Tommy? How many of you guys remember this old school gamer? This was the original in-home sim racing game, or at least one of them. And I thought that was a good way to end today's show. So thank you once again for being here. Thank you for being the pit crew, having my back when I miss something on the story, or giving us even more details if you know more than I do, which is pretty easy to do when you really think about it. But that's going to do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Pit Stop and more. That's going to do it. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.